Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Crypto Insider channel. I am the Crypto Insider, back with another cryptocurrency video for you on this Saturday morning. It's actually cooled down a bit in Austin, Texas, where we record from. I don't know what temperature it is, but I was going to go test drive some motorcycles today and probably make a bad purchase that I shouldn't. Uh, and I can tell if I go test driving, it's gonna be a little bit cold out there on the old motorcycles. So who knows? Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I will do my other adult responsibilities, like go to Lowe's and buy weed killer. You never know. It's all things that are on the list, so I'll get to them eventually. Anyway, I hope you're having a good weekend. I hope that everything is happening the way you want it to, and that you're keeping an eye on all the cryptocurrency prices, and excited to be back at the channel. What you're seeing on the screen before you is the donation we make for each new subscriber to the channel. We send a little bit of XRP to the At Good Souls group, and they're a charity aggregator. So they take our donation, they break it down amongst 9 different charity organizations. St. Jude's is on there. There's a dog rescue. There's veterans charities, clean waters, educational materials for kids. There's a bunch of good causes there. So if you have the tip bot enabled and you would like to give to the Good Souls group, it's fairly easy to go ahead and send them a tip. They're definitely a worthwhile organization. Uh, let's jump right into it, I guess. We'll just go right from the charity donations into live coin watch and look at some of the prices over the last 24 hours. We keep a pretty good eye on it. Bitcoin dominance falling down a little more, or was it? I don't know if it was more or less yesterday. I can't remember. It was 64 point something yesterday, so we're still kind of steady. Uh, Looks like Bitcoin's picking up a little bit here in the last hour, up 0.7% for the day, which is still pretty good. I mean, the charts are kind of diverging from Bitcoin a little bit. XRP, XRP is looking closer to Nah, not even. I don't know what XRP looks closer today. I should have done my research before I started making the video. I did research some of the top gainers. Litecoin had a good day. I think Bitcoin SV up 15%. I don't know if any of the listeners buy these altcoins, but they would have been some good ones. EOS making some solid gains there. Dash, Link, and there was some other coin that had a really big uh, rise, and I forget what it was called, but I'd never researched it before, so I'm not gonna say you should or should not buy it. Of course, I would never say that anyways, because I'm not a registered investment advisor, financial planner, tax accountant, or broker, and I don't sell any products. But I will occasionally talk about the positions that I take and that I have or have had in the past, and you can sort of maybe use a little of my experience to hopefully benefit your trading routine. I don't know. FX Street is the next place we're going. We covered an article by John. I don't know if you say that Isigi yesterday, but we're gonna do this one today because it applies. Ripple price analysis. XRP USD continues to dance between stacks of resistance and support areas, and that is exactly right. The bullet points: Ripple stalls short of 30 cents, a move that left the gap being explored by the sellers. Ripple must defend the position above the 200-day simple moving average in order to sustain the uptrend. And I'm guessing they will. Anytime after a run, you see consolidation, and then I mean, you go up so far, you pull back, and then you go up again. It's not a straight shot. So I think we're in a consolidation phase, and for us, and when I say us, I mean XRP hodlers or holders. We've been in an accumulation phase for so long that a lot of people have had a lot of opportunity to get a lot of XRP, and at the point where just a rise of 3 or 4 cents can be a pretty valuable amount of money for people. So I think when you're talking about these lower price coins, smashing the resistance levels is a little bit harder because so many people have had the opportunity to accumulate quite a volume of the tokens. If you were buying 50 XRP every week over the last year, or $50 worth, you would have a very substantial amount of XRP. In fact, you might be in the top 5 or 10% of XRP holders. We have another article here that says Coinbase says Bitcoin will become closer to digital gold in 93 days because of the scarcity. And the article is by Jack Martin. And you can go see it if you want. I don't read the entire articles. I just sort of cover the gist of it here. But scarcity creates value. Of course, they're talking about the halvening. Gold has more value than similar metals such as copper due to its relative scarcity and difficulty to acquire. They're comparing Bitcoin to uh, digital gold. However, it also has an advantage over gold in being transferable through a communications channel. Meaning, if you're in war-torn Iraq or Iran, Iraq, whatever, and there's drone strikes, you don't have to pick up a huge pile of gold and try to escape the country with it. It's much easier to use Bitcoin, even if it is slow, and we'll talk about that too. Why Bitcoin has value scarcity. And really, Bitcoin now is so expensive that most people in cryptocurrency do not own one entire Bitcoin, that are familiar with the markets. Uh, One Bitcoin is what, $9,800 now, or $9,900. That's a lot of money for your average sort of hobbyist investor. So they may own part of a Bitcoin. And that's what I mean about them not being able to acquire so much that they can really impress or depress the price with a few hobbyist investors. Whereas in something like XLM, Stellar Lumens, that's at only 5 cents, you could buy. You buy $1,000 worth of Stellar Lumens, and you've got quite a quite a stack of them. No value without demand. S2F forecast for the price will fail if there is no demand, and this holds true for fiat money as much as any other commodity. If central banks increase the money supply, economies can sometimes prosper. However, if money supply overwhelms demand, then hyperinflation events can occur. So, that's a good thing. If you want to think about this sort of hypothetically, the first thing you have to do is let me take a sip of coffee. Very unprofessional. I know. We're not a business here, folks. It's still Saturday morning. So grab your coffee and put on some easy to the ear music. Save the hard stuff for later on tonight. Then you can crank the Led Zeppelin. Okay, what was I going to say about? Yeah, oh yeah. So people will say things like, why doesn't the government just give everybody $1 million? Or why doesn't Donald Trump give everybody $10,000? Or why doesn't this rich person just, do this or do that? So let's say it was possible. He doesn't have enough wealth to. But let's say Bill Gates says, you know what, I'm going to divest myself of this fortune. I'm going to give everybody in the United States $1 million, every single person. What would that do? What would the net effect be on the economy? What do you think it would be? Well, the answer is zero, right? Everybody's in exactly the same place as when they started. Because now every business out there knows that everybody has $1 million and the price will just rise on everything to absorb that. Obviously, there'd be some relief, fixed agreements that you're in, like your car loan and your house loan, that you could immediately pay off. That would have an effect on the economy big time. But overall, your gallon of milk goes to $4,000 because everybody knows you have the money. So, interesting things to think about. And that's what could cause a hyperinflation event if the money supply overwhelms the demand. Such events drive demands for safe havens, according to gold and Bitcoin, and recent economic fears reaching all-time highs, according to the Global Economic Policy Uncertainty Index. I wonder why that is. I'd like to read more about that. Maybe I'll do that tonight. I'm obviously not going to go through this video and start reading you documents from the Global Economic Policy Uncertainty Index. Nothing could be more boring. This, along with Bitcoin's myriad of technological advances and accelerating development, justifies Bitcoin's title as digital gold, according to Coinbase. Bitcoin's myriad of technological advances, I'd be curious to see what they're thinking. They may be thinking about SegWit, segregated witness, and they may also be talking about the Lightning Network, both of which, in my opinion, are littered with huge problems that I don't know. Maybe they'll be able to overcome them, maybe they won't. As Cointelegraph reported, senior employees of Coinbase and Ripple recently formed a working group to advise United States regulators on policies to encourage innovation in the sector. And that's well needed. That is, there's a couple things to talk about here. First, Bitcoin is digital gold. There is no reason, in my opinion, why Bitcoin has to be the digital gold. If you're storing things on a blockchain, you know, there's no reason to use the slowest and clunkiest one to store your digital gold. So at some point, I don't even think Bitcoin as digital gold might be a thing, because you can store your value on any of the blockchains. So why would you pick the slowest, clunkiest, oldest Model T Ford blockchain to store your value on? And right now, the answer to that question is because everybody else does. And as soon as that answer changes to something else, Bitcoin's going to take quite a hit. I don't know when that'll be or if that will ever be. But Bitcoin has the branding right now. We understand the markets a lot better than your average person on the street. If you start talking about XRP to Joe Smo down at the cafe, chances are he's going to think you're talking about Bitcoin. Everything is Bitcoin to the uninitiated. So there's a lot of work to go to explain to people that Bitcoin really isn't needed. It doesn't have a good use case. People are maxi on it because it has performed. It has the history behind it. There's no denying that. But how long does that maintain? How long does that support hold up the pyramid? Which Bitcoin's the pyramid, and XRP is the skyscraper, and a lot of these other blockchains are the skyscraper, with indoor plumbing compared to the pyramid that Bitcoin is. So I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Again, we covered this story yesterday, this Cointelegraph story, Coinbase and Ripple forming a working group to advise United States regulators and litigators on policies to encourage innovation in the sector. That is well needed because a lot of your average legislators and regulators do not understand the crypto markets either. And Coinbase and Ripple both have some very good employees working for them that I think can really add value to that space of education to the folks that need it, because they're the ones that are going to be voting on the bills and signing things into policy. There's so much FUD out there, and these legislators, these folks, are not immune to FUD. Nobody is immune to FUD, even us. We when it comes out, sometimes we can spot it and we can report on it, but it just there's sometimes there's so much it's hard to keep up with, and you see some of the ill-informed views that some of these CEOs have from. What was that one place? Was it Intermex and then Galaxy? You see some of their ill-informed views, and these are people in the space. These are people that are CEOs that are making Lord knows how much money from this stuff. And you say if they, in my mind, I say if they need educated in the space. Can you imagine, your congressman from Alabama who's going to vote on a bill? Not to knock Alabama if you're from Alabama. I'm just saying these Congress people and representatives, they have much different priorities that they're working on in much different areas of expertise than cryptocurrency, and the importance needs impressed upon them that the United States has to do something in a regulatory fashion or get left behind. There's no doubt about it. So I'm hoping that this group that Coinbase and Ripple sort of formed will serve some of that purpose and fill that particular gap. All right. One thing we did a few Saturdays ago is started our Cryptohopper trading bot. And as the market has gone down in the past few days, um, so have our positions. So a lot of these are in the red right now. I'm not too worried about it. Because even after these positions so far, it looks like we're up 49.07%. That's way better than even credit card interest. So we don't have that much money in there. This is sort of just intellectual exercise, I guess, or just a fun exercise for us that are involved in the cryptocurrency market. I know a lot of the audience is hodlers, but there are some people interested in trading, and it is good to sort of go through the product and say, oh, here's one that can make you a return on your money. The subscriptions do cost money. You do have to have a little bit of knowledge about the markets to get it set up and understand how APIs work, and make sure that you're not putting any really bad strategies into place where you're losing money, because you can lose money. Fortunately, Cryptohopper is very dumbed down, and anytime you're going to do things like set stop losses and things like that, it will warn you that you can turn this on if you want, but you might end up losing some money on your position. So at least that's good about this one. This is one reason why I like it. But if you know somebody that's interested in trading and you do have some awareness of this stuff, you could pretty much set it for someone and forget it. My mother was like, "Oh, how do I do this? How do I get?" And she is the last person that should be setting this up. So if anything, I would set it up for her and just let it run in the background, so to speak. But it's an interesting site. Um, and for anybody that's interested in position trading, and we've done pretty good. Uh, so I really don't have any complaints. The only thing I would say is if you're going to get a Cryptohopper subscription and you're in the U.S., don't get the big expensive one that allows exchange arbitrage unless you have accounts that work on all those exchanges. Depending on where you are, what state you're in, you may not be allowed to establish accounts on all the exchanges that the arbitrage bots support in Cryptohopper. And if you only have two exchanges, it doesn't make sense to pay the increased fee to run an arbitrage bot between those two exchanges, in my opinion. But if anybody is on Cryptohopper running an arbitrage bot, you can go ahead and comment on that. If you have any comments at all, feel free to leave them in the comment section. I'll pop up some videos that you can click on to continue your crypto insider journey. And we'll be back probably tomorrow with another video. And maybe I will be +1 or minus or at the same motorcycle wise. You never know. I do gotta go out and do some, the adult things you gotta do to maintain a house. So. It was great doing the video for you today. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for stopping by.